Check out my sick coffee mug.
Oh, wow.
What's that say? Owl?
Is that your alter ego?
No, I just found it in a thrift shop and thought it was the ugliest fucking thing, and I had to have it.
It's just some dude named Owl.
Yeah.
I hated that mug. Yeah, his ex-wife got it for him.
Al had absolutely had enough of that bullshit.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's tough to gauge like what the size of the mug is, but how big is it? Is that
Like just a regular, basic coffee mug. Yeah.
For some reason, it looks tiny.
Yeah.
It's like it's an espresso mug or something.
I mean, it is a smaller size of mug, but I assure you, it is regulation for most coffee. You go to a diner. This is what you get. They hand you one of these, and a carafe of coffee or whatever. They just pour it. Regular shit.
Regulation size coffee cup.
That's right. From the Coffee Authority, they had several meetings and determined that was as big as a coffee mug ever needed to fucking be. So yeah.
Okay. Does anybody remember what we decided to call this season?
No. No, that was like a whole... It was a while ago.
Yeah. I think it was in the last real episode we had before Game of the Year.
Yeah, like Phase Plus or Phase 2.0, because like Brett was talking some big game about how he was going to have a camera rocket, and it was just like, it's going to be Phase season even better.
Okay, peep this, okay. So I took my desktop into the shop September, I think it was like early September. And one reason after another, the board that the guy ordered was dead on arrival, and then the second board was dead on arrival, and then the dude got COVID. Just excuse after excuse after excuse. I did not get my desktop back until the past week. And now I've been using it a little bit, but there's some sort of issue. I need to update the wireless or like the Wi-Fi card's drivers, because it keeps resetting on its own. Like it keeps restarting every 10-15 minutes. It'll restart on its own. So I would use it now, but I'm like it's definitely going to reset on me. So I think that the next episode I'm going to be on camera. We'll be rocking with this thing.
Okay.
Yeah, give me a couple weeks to figure out this. I have no idea what's going on with this, but I need to figure it out.
I mean, I was stoked in the meeting on Saturday when I saw your face. I thought,
Yeah.
Well, so no.
We're
the
past
thing
this.
is that I was I was on my laptop and I wasn't recording audio. I worry that if I'm recording audio and doing my video, then my computer might start to fall apart. But if
Fair.
if you all are okay with possibly me dropping out randomly, then I'll totally turn my camera on.
we'll stick with Yokozuna's ass for now.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Because no, I'm totally okay with that's where I'm at, and I fully expect in 2 weeks to be on cam and rolling here.
I'll give you a full-size avatar this week. How about that?
Of Yokozuna?
I'm not going to say.
Okay. Fair enough.
I'll do my best to make it related to whatever we end up calling this episode.
Yeah, we got to figure out what's this 2022 season. What
Phase 2, The Reckoning.
Yeah, that's good. That's
Face of
good.
Reckoning, yeah.
That sounds like an Ubisoft title.
Mm-hmm.
I'd probably play that,
I mean,
actually.
100%. I know we can't.
Faces Odyssey, Call of Vengeance.
Yeah.
Dash Extraction Zone.
Yes.
All right, lock it in.
Yeah, man. All right, so who wants to start jibber jabbing about the games that what they've been playing?
Well, I can
Yep,
I can
Brian.
start. I guess.
Yeah.
Anyway, hey, this is Press X the podcast. I'm going to try to do that a little more often this season.
Ah,
Introduce the podcast because this is Press X to podcast.
It is indeed.
And interestingly, I found out over the break that there is another podcast out there called Press X Podcast.
yeah.
No two, but
Yeah.
Press X Podcast. And I don't know who came first, but I think there's an Anchorman style street fight in the making there.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. It doesn't really matter who comes first because they suck.
Calling
Yeah,
it right
that's
now.
fair. Yeah.
I've never
You know
listened
what?
to it.
So,
No, never heard a word of it. But
Anyway, this is Press X 2 Podcast, the podcast from your friends at Cog Connected. My name's Paul, and alongside me we've got James and Rhett.
hello.
what the hell
What?
do you? No, no. Okay, no. Keep going. Keep going.
That's
you
all I
don't
planned,
wanna-
really.
No,
And by
yeah,
planned, I
no,
mean
that's
thought
it.
up on the spot, because that's how I do these
Well,
podcasts.
It's just that this Press X podcast has got me fired up. It's just got me fired up, you know? What, like,
It seems to be a PlayStation-oriented podcast,
Okay.
and I would argue that ours is way more clever, because all the controllers have an X button. We're multi-platform. We cover everything. Switch has an X button. Xbox has an X button. PlayStation has the cross button / X button.
has a cross. Yep.
You know, even the
Absolutely.
I think the Steam controller even had an X button on it. So, what more do you need to say, really, other than you should listen to this podcast? And if you're hearing this, you're already listening to the right one. So,
Yeah.
if
You
you
chose
find yourself
correctly.
if you find yourself at the other podcast at some point, leave
Delete.
and come back here.
You took a wrong turn at Albuquerque. You need to get your way all the way around back to here to this podcast.
Yeah, do an Elmer
Yeah.
Elmer Fudd, Bugs Bunny.
Straight up. Press B. Press circle. Go back.
Does that bother anyone
on.
else that on the Xbox to this day, the B button is not like an exit button on the dashboard? It takes you back to whatever the last thing you were doing. It is literally a back button. So if you go from the games and apps thing to the store, and then you try to download something from the store, and then you try to go back to the home screen, no, you're going to go back to the previous page of the store, and then back to the games and apps thing, and then back to whatever you were doing before, which was probably playing a game. So getting to the Xbox dashboard is way harder than it needs to be. It's bothered me since
Yeah.
2013, and they have never changed it.
Yeah.
Well, you just haven't written enough strongly worded letters to Captain John Francis Xbox, as one must in order to get anything accomplished in this hectic day and day, you know? So leave them playing.
JFX.
Okay, we could stop the bit. I was gonna keep going with the John Francis Xbox.
If you don't know the name of a person in authority, my rule is you call them John Francis whatever they're in charge of, and most people will believe you for a second.
So if John Francis Xbox had an associated ship method of travel, what would it be?
It would be a barge.
Okay.
But like the kind that where like once you're not on the water anymore, it could be a land barge. Like it has wheels, you just come out. But it's not a sky barge because R&D has been slipping up and not doing their job. So someday, but not now. Until then, it's just like a sea and land barge.
The Xbox hover barge now available in the Xbox Gear Shop right next to the mini fridge.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say. Maybe he uses just a hollowed out fridge turned upside down.
Yeah.
I bet those little ones would float.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Anyway, video games. We've played them.
Oh yeah.
I said
Yeah,
I'd go
right.
first, and the first thing I want to talk about, as if I didn't dunk on it enough in our Game of the Year podcasts. I want to talk about Halo again
Hell yeah.
because I did.
Oh, yeah.
I did actually finish the campaign,
Okay.
Oh.
and the story is an absolute atrocity.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a mess. It makes
Yeah.
little to no sense. It tries to go for dramatic effect, but it's missing all the pieces that led up to that. You know?
Garbage.
But that said, I did come to one point in Halo Infinite's campaign where I thought, this is well designed.
Oh.
I'm having fun right now. Unfortunately, that came in a boss battle about 3/4 of the way through the game. And there was
Classic.
one big action set piece Halo giant arena battle that was good, and then it went back
Okay.
to the other thing that it was doing before that was not good.
Right.
So I think they had a good game planned and then rewrote the story when they had spent 6 years on the game and they were like 3 to 4% done what they wanted to do. So maybe over the course of the next 10 years, if they decide to keep going with this thing for that long, maybe we'll get a story at some point. As for
Okay.
now, if you want to play Halo, you should really stick to the multiplayer because it is
Yeah,
pretty good,
that's fair.
as we discussed.
Yeah, multiplayer's great.
On the flip side of that, once I finished Halo, I was so angry about the story that I fell back into old patterns and started playing Destiny 2.
I saw that.
That is a better shooter in every way, shape, and form than Halo Infinite.
Way better.
Story's better, the shooting's better, the powers and characters are better, the graphics are shockingly better on an Xbox Series X or PlayStation 5. And you can play the campaign there for free, or the
Oh.
entry level piece of Destiny. So there's no barrier to going and trying it to see if you like it. There's still.
Will.
Did you say you will, Rhett?
Yeah, you will. If you're a fan of Halo, you will absolutely be a fan of Destiny because, especially what Paul was saying about the shooting being better, the shooting in Destiny is infinitely more satisfying. When you land that headshot, it's so crisp. You know, you really feel your enemy's head pop when you land that like perfect shot. Halo just doesn't really have that feeling. It's smooth, you know. I've been playing Infinite actually over the Christmas break, and it's smooth. But yeah, Destiny is a much more satisfying game to play.
It has that Bungie je ne sais quoi about it, and it's one of those games that, much like a Borderlands or something, it's got bazillions of guns, but each one of those guns is kind of handcrafted to be something a little bit different than anything else of that category. So you can pick up 5 or 6 different pulse rifles, for example, which is like a burst gun of some kind, and all of them will be completely different. They feel different. They have drastically different stats. So there's a lot of experimentation to find the thing that you actually want to use and that specifically defines your character, both in the player versus environment stuff and in the PvP. That said, still a whole lot of bullshit, a lot of collecting of things that are meaningless and redoing things because they want you to buy into the economy, which you don't have to do, but it's there and it's a little bit annoying. That said, very much looking forward to the next expansion, The Witch Queen, which is coming out next month.
All right.
Rhett, tell me more about your feelings about Halo. You've been playing the multiplayer, you've been playing the campaign.
Just a little bit of the campaign. I
Mm-hmm.
harken back to our last episode where James was saying that there is no way in hell that he would put Far Cry 6 above Halo Infinite on our Game of the Year list. And honestly, after playing Halo Infinite, I think Far Cry 6 is a better game. Right now, I think it's a better game. It's more fully realized than Halo is. And just what you were saying, Paul, where we'll see where Halo is in 10 years. I'm sure it's going to be great down the line, but right now, I think Far Cry is a more complete game. The story's more interesting. The mechanics are better. Characters are a bit more interesting. There's way more weapon variety. I think that the world is more interesting. The map is way more interesting in Far Cry. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Now, with all that being said, I don't think Halo is bad. I really don't think it's bad.
Mm-mm.
It's very well optimized as well. I've been playing it on the Series S, and it is very, very well optimized. It looks great, runs smooth. Obviously, you know, these Microsoft games, you would expect them to run perfectly, and it does. So yeah, it's, you know, if you like Halo, there's really nothing to not like with this one. But I don't really see what it's doing different than any of the other Halos before it. Other than that sweet grappling hook, I will say that.
Yeah, I was a bit of a grappling hook hater for quite a while because it's kind of slow. It's a little bit cumbersome. But then, about halfway through the game, I realized that after you've grappled onto something, you can kind of affect your angle. So if you grapple onto, you know, some kind of platform or something, and you want to fly over it, you can use the sticks to kind of guide the chief over the top, so you're not just climbing onto the thing, you're actually launching over it, which is way better. And they should make that a little bit more apparent earlier in the... or at all. They should make that more apparent.
Yeah, my understanding is that, like, for some players, the grappling hook was the big difference between decent game and fuck yeah, Halo. Like, just the inclusion of that one mechanic was like a real shiny spot on the record, so to speak.
Yeah, it's fun. It's absolutely not new, though. It's not an innovation. Are there better grappling hooks out there? Probably. I'd probably put
Guaranteed.
the grappling hook in Arkham City up at the top of the list.
Oh yeah, Arkham City, and I believe Dying Light 1 had a good one that worked better than this Halo one. It was faster than this Halo one.
Mm-hmm. But to each their own. If you love Halo, you love Halo. Who's next?
Well, I had been playing Windjammers too, but the embargo is a little ways off. So,
we'll save that.
Yeah, we'll hold on to that gem. I have been playing a fair bit Solar Ash.
Oh, okay.
I broke down and bought that one. And mixed feelings about it. Somewhat complicated mixed feelings.
Okay.
I love the music a lot. The soundtrack is fantastic, absolutely exemplary. It doesn't hook you quite the way their previous game did. It's really hard to put your finger on what it is that isn't quite like doesn't quite have it. But like I think it's partially because so much of your focus is spent on exploration, whereas Hyper Light Drifter is like purely about combat with a little bit of navigation involved, just to like, get from place to place. Solar Ash is all exploration. It's all wandering around this weird, beautiful shadow of a world that once was, and like fighting these big Shadow of the Colossus style boss fights with like a couple of tiny little enemies here and there, but they're fine. They don't matter. They're just one more set of obstacles. And like navigating the world is cool. You get these like rails you can sort of grind on, and you just go ripping up and down these things and going all over the place. And like the way the boss fights work, where you're navigating on top of this beast whose surface turns untouchable after a certain amount of time. It's fascinating stuff, and it's somewhat compelling, but like something about the gameplay loop is just like, I will play this for like 40 minutes at a time when I get to it, and then over a course of a little while, I will eventually beat this game. I think one thing I really don't like, a lot of talking, a lot of spoken dialogue, which in my opinion fucks up the mystique of a big, beautiful, magical world that's like slowly falling apart and decaying, to just have this ordinary ass sounding lady just like, hey, it's me, I'm out here grabbing stuff, getting collectibles. Oop, want to make sure I don't do that again. Oh, almost missed that or whatever. Just having some really person doing a job kind of dialogue. You're like, no, I can't listen to this.
Yeah, Hyper Light Drifter was very much like a master class in show don't tell.
Yeah.
That's a bummer.
And there's not a lot to tell, to their credit. It's sparse. You're not like overwhelmed with walls of text, but whenever somebody talks, I'm like, I didn't need this that much. But it's good. I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna finish it. I'm gonna play it all the way through just to get more of that sweet soundtrack. Do a little casual exploration and collectibles, and like uncover all the nooks and the crannies and whatnot, and see what I can figure out about this world. Not super invested in the story. Like the minutia of it, like the larger goal of like saving this world and whatever, and like keeping this black hole from swallowing everything. That's cool. I like that. It's a good story. But like whenever they're like, here's this like sad shadow of a character, you want to learn more about them? I'm like, no, man. Give a shit.
Nope, I don't want to, actually.
Yeah. Their life sucked and now it's basically over. That's cool. That seems like it's going to be all of them. Anyways, bye.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think that one's on Game Pass, actually. So maybe I'll try to give that a bit of a run.
It's I'm basically playing it for the art and for the soundtrack, which is reason enough for me to keep dipping my toe back in.
Yeah, the second I heard it was Disaster Piece doing the music again, I knew I would have to
very much lives up to your expectations.
Listen to the soundtrack a million times on whatever platform I can find it on, but to also maybe play the game.
Yeah. Yeah, at some point, right? Yeah.
Yeah, okay. We'll give it a shot then. Rhett, what have you been up to? Playing Halo? What else?
No. What have I been? Breath of the Wild. Absolutely addicted to Breath of the Wild. I have restarted the game 3 times now.
Oh.
The first 2 times, it just didn't take. I don't know why. It just didn't take. But this 3rd time, restarted it, and I'm probably, 50 hours into it now. I just beat Meadow, so I'm two divine beasts into the game, and man, I can't put it down. I don't know why it took the 3rd time. Maybe because this time I really was determined to get into it. The second one's coming out, and I really wanted to go through the first before the second one, and man, it is just so goddamn good. I
can't echo Paul's sentiment enough about how the weapons breaking every 5 minutes is annoying as fuck. But other than that, I love it. I really love it.
Yeah, that's one of those things that I find myself disagreeing with people a lot about, because the weapons thing never really bothered me, and I'm very ready to take down a shitty mechanic in a Zelda game when I'm like not satisfied with it. Like, I'm the sort of concerned, heartfelt fan that will for sure shit on something that I think does not work. And I never had any problems with the weapons. Like, they break all the time, but like the problem I had with the weapons is that I was constantly running out of inventory space to store the fucking things. Like, it was never like,
Right.
oh man, what if I use up this sword? Then I'm only going to have like 9 more in my backpack.
Right.
But if it's at that point where you just have so many of the things, they're just coming out of your ears, what is the point of the mechanic? I don't know.
Somebody I heard explain it like types of ammunition, where you have like different kinds of swords and different kinds of weapons that serve different functions, and you're just stocking up on a certain kind of ammo, basically, because like it's expendable in the same way that ammunition is, and it's like you can very easily count down like how long it's going to take for it to be used up, and you need certain kinds of ammo for certain enemies. And then if a really tough fight like a Lionel, you could just use like most of your inventory defeating it until you master the parry, the perfect dodge or whatever. But like, you're not supposed to get attached to any one item to any particular degree. And in my experience, it encourages you to like never hold on to anything and just use what you have as soon as you have it. And I find that philosophy serves me well. You find a cool, big ass, beautiful flaming swords. You're like, all right, the first 10 enemies I see are getting their asses lit on fire, and then this thing is dust. That's it.
Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah.
Because there's always going to be more. You're going to find another. Not only are you going to find more swords, you're going to find more like big claymores that like shoot fire. You're going to find more like electric ones. You're going to find ancient weapons. You're going to find like the royal ones that are like the really high quality blades. Those are going to be coming out of your fucking ears. So like, so whatever, just use them, man.
Right.
It's the same thing when you're like trying to train yourself out of that dumb reflex you get when you're a kid, where you get those super powerful like potions and shit like that in games, and you're like, I'll just save this for later. No, shut up, use it now.
You are
Life
going,
is short.
Yeah.
You're
going to
Your-
end the
your
game
inventory-
with like 75 X potions.
Yeah, no, fuck that.
Right.
No.
Your inventory should be empty. The end of the last boss fight, empty. Just poop. That's it. Nothing left.
Well, maybe I'll try to approach the next one a little more from that angle. Because even disliking the weapon degradation system, I still love the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess that's a testament to how good the design is, because you can completely avoid, to the best of your ability, certain mechanics and still have a very well-rounded experience.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah,
cooking
you
stuff,
can-
I cooked everything. I cooked everything all the time.
Oh my
Man,
god.
I'm addicted. I'm addicted to mixing shit.
Like,
Wheat,
as soon as you figure
Sugar.
out, you were saying?
Nah, just making cakes. Sorry, go on.
No, I listen. That's a great, valuable use of your fucking time, man.
Right, yeah. I've that's one thing I've been addicted to, is just trying to figure out recipes. Mixing a bit of this and a bit of that and seeing if it actually makes a dish. And when you do make something that you haven't seen before, it's like, fuck yeah. It's great.
There's also something about putting together a bunch of things that you think should work and having the game be like, you made greasy slop. Enjoy.
Yeah, the dubious food. That shit makes me laugh every
Yeah.
time. Where it's like they censor the food. It's so bad.
Yeah, it's like
It's good.
you shouldn't see this.
Yeah, and that's really though.
that's why I think I'm enjoying the game so much, is because I've gone deep enough now where I see just how clever the game is. And there's, whether you're like doing a shrine or you're talking to people or you're doing a little side quest or something like that, like the game never ceases to just make me smile. It's, it's a very smart game, and the physics are fantastic. Yeah.
Some of the best out there.
Yeah. Basically. There's probably still at least a few accounts posting videos, fresh ones, of amazing shit that people are doing in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's going to be the best part of the sequel, right? Is people are going to they're going to introduce like one new mechanic or something, and people are going to use that to like completely go bananas. Like, find some way to like, oh, you just hop through this hole twice and you like get shot like a fucking cannonball halfway across the map.
It's the greatest part of any speed run on a longer game like that is just how bananas the strategies are to bypass certain parts of the game. And Breath of the Wild is one of the craziest ones. If you haven't watched a speed run, you really need only less than an hour to watch someone complete the entire game. And it's wild.
Yeah.
It's wild to watch the fresh, just rolled out of the coffin Link just walk all over Ganon.
Yeah.
Just clown him.
Just clown him.
Love it.
Sweet. Well, I'm glad you finally found your groove on that game, Rhett.
Yeah, me too.
Something I just thought of is completely unrelated to Zelda, except a little bit. Last year, we did a ranking of all the Zelda games.
Mm-hmm.
We should do a different ranking of all the blank games this year. Maybe something that's coming out this year.
Yeah.
Let's get it done.
There's a few pretty serious franchises out there with pretty deep catalogs. People have a lot of strong opinions on them. I won't be able to bring crazy expertise to more than a few franchises. Like, I've got a limited amount of them where I've like done deep dives on every entry. But yeah, I can probably,
I mean, we could do.
Well,
more
I think
than-
about. I think I interjected on, I don't know, maybe 2 points in the Legend of Zelda cast. So no worries.
Is there a
You added
decades
flavor.
old?
Flavor.
Yeah, like, you were looking up screenshots and saying, I like the color of Link's hat in this one.
Nice.
Nice,
right. Sure. Okay.
Real-
Okay. Yeah,
So-
fair enough.
Yeah,
So
what would you
so
want
Rhett,
to do?
yeah,
Me?
yeah.
Metal Gear Solid. Metal Gear.
Okay, but that's like
Okay.
5 games, man.
No, it's not. There's many games. There's many games.
There's the PSP one. There's the
PSP. Man, there's
couple of
multiple
PSP
PSP ones.
PS Vita.
NES. Oh yeah, PS
MSX.
Vita.
That'll be my turn to barely make a peep for the entire podcast. That'll be
Yeah,
me.
exactly. Like, there's a lot of games there. What about? I was thinking, actually, I know, Paul, how much of a fan you are of Super Mario Odyssey.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a new Mario game coming out this year? No, right?
I mean, they've been pretty quiet about that. I wouldn't be surprised to
Yeah.
see an announcement of a Mario game. Probably not coming out this year, but
Best Mario though?
it's tough.
I could
That is- yeah, that's
formulate some strong opinions about the best Mario games.
Okay. Well, let's pencil Mario in, and Rhett, you and I can get together and talk about Metal Gear.
Oh yeah.
There's got to be at least one more person that writes for the site that
Oh, Obviously,
stupidly
easily.
in Metal Gear as we are. So I think we can make it happen.
Yeah. All
Let's
right.
shoot for the moon. We'll get both done.
Yeah. I know Jazz. Jazz is a big fan.
Okay.
But he
All right.
is on the other side of the planet, so
Well, he can get up in the middle of the night, or we can do it early in the morning. One of those two.
fair. Yep.
We'll make it work.
Yeah.
So the other thing that I've been playing, this is a complete change of topic, is a little Game Pass game that I hadn't really heard of before. It's called Yes, Your Grace. And it's entirely narrative driven, almost completely. There's a little bit of mechanical stuff, but the main gist of it is you are the king of a kingdom, and you are making choice. It's very much like Papers, Please. You're making choices about the kingdom. People are coming to you with requests, and you've got certain amounts of supplies and gold and food that you can use for the entire kingdom, with costs that are coming in, and you got to repair the dungeon maybe, or this person wants food because their village was ransacked, and you got to make calls. And every single one of the calls comes back to bite you in the ass. It doesn't matter which way you do it. I'm sure there's a perfect run through this game, but it is very compelling, especially as a palate cleanser between some more mechanically heavy things. Very fun. Pretty well written. Very almost Atari level graphics.
Nice.
NES with an Atari flair. Let's say that.
Okay.
It's great. It's great. Really enjoying it. I don't want to say too much because there's a lot of shocking moments. I did not expect to be blown away or shocked at anything that was happening, and yet I was. So especially if you have Game Pass, there's no reason not to download that and give it a little try.
Yeah.
Any other games anybody wants to bring up? I'll take that as a no.
Yeah.
The good news is we got lots of news. What?
News. Let's talk of the news.
So at CES this year, there's the usual TVs and sound bars and probably robot vacuums, but also for some reason Sony revealed the PSVR 2's specs.
Yeah.
And showed off the controllers
Sexy.
for the first time.
Yeah. Also sexy.
And from what they said, this is a very, very high-end piece of equipment.
Yeah, that is.
It's gonna be, man. It's gonna be expensive.
To be that powerful? Yeah, it basically has to be.
Expensive.
So let's break it
Good.
down for you a little bit. It has a full 4K OLED in the helmet. It's like 2,000 pixels each direction for each eye. It has the inside-out camera-based tracking that the Oculus Quest and the Oculus Rift S have, where it tracks everything with the headset, so you don't need an external camera anymore. It's got a one-cable connection for everything. It's got quite a wide field of view, wider than the old PSVR.
Yeah, like 120 or 100, some crazy field of view.
Yeah, it was 110 or 120, somewhere in there. And a bunch of really cool technical hardware things that haven't really been done before, at least not on something that was designed for gaming. And that is things like Foveated Rendering, which basically what that means is it has tiny infrared cameras inside the helmet looking at where your eyes are looking, and it prioritizes rendering where you're looking. And so the periphery of your vision can use less resources because it doesn't need to be as detailed because you literally cannot see it. So it gets around most hardware limitations and will probably let this thing do full 4K games at whatever frames per second it needs to trick your brain into being real.
It needs to be 120 seconds, I believe, in first or in VR.
Yeah, somewhere in that range.
frames,
I think it's like under 100 people start to get sick.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, man, it's going to be an impressive piece of hardware. I'm super excited to get my hands on the controllers, see how the haptics work. Sony absolutely innovated with the DualSense, and I cannot wait to see what they do with this PSVR 2.
Because this thing has haptic. They didn't say haptic. They said it has some kind of tactile stuff in the headset. So I assume that's pretty much the same as the DualSense technology, and I could imagine having raindrops bounce off your helmet or bullets whiz by your head.
Right? You take a headshot.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, take one bullet. You're like,
yeah. Oh fuck me. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the real question at this point: is how much is this thing going to cost? Because it looks like it is very high end, and
minimum 500, I think.
Yeah.
5 feels optimistic.
Optimistic, right? Yeah, minimum 500.
People thought 500 was optimistic for the new consoles as well.
Yeah. I have a hard time imagining they go much above the actual system cost.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, that's not a good look for it, you know? Because regardless of whether or not it is actually justifiable, people are just going to be like, what? That thing costs more than the system itself?
Yeah.
I mean, the good news is, as the hardware and a software manufacturer, they have a little bit more leeway there. They can eat a bit of the cost on the hardware for a while in the hopes of making it back up on games. Someone like Oculus, or even Valve for that matter, if they're selling a headset, they need that thing to make money because they don't have this huge catalog of titles that they can lean on. They can't promise Gran Turismo 7 in VR or this new Horizon VR experience.
Jesus, the Horizon thing. Oh my god.
Yeah. So like the promise of those things, they know they're going to sell software.
Okay.
But yeah, that Horizon thing looks crazy.
Man.
Yeah,
we're getting close to the time when we're all just going to be linked up in these headsets in the same shared world, living the life.
Meta wants that shit real bad real soon, but tain't happening, friendos.
Yeah, they're desperate for it, but I feel like people are seeing through the Zuckerberg bot at this point.
Gamers will put up with a lot of weird peripherals and clunky shit on their head in person because they want that experience that they can't get anywhere else. But your average end user, they hate even wearing glasses. They can't even get Google Glass to launch. And they're like, no, we're just going to put this on your face and you're just going to experience this world. It's like, no, fuck you. I wear nothing. It's like, no, never.
I mean,
like, they can crack that nut.
Yeah, I assume that Google Glass is the reason that Apple hasn't launched anything that's of a similar caliber. The iPhone of augmented reality.
Yeah,
I'm sure they're working on it, but I'm sure they're all working on everything, actually.
Yeah.
Anyways, in case we missed it, the controllers for this PSVR 2 are very Oculus looking. With a stick on each controller, a couple of buttons, a trigger, a grip button, and the ring that senses your position in your hand location and all that stuff. Which works remarkably well on the Oculus. I've almost never had an issue with that thing tracking correctly.
gonna say it seemed like they figured it out with that until they get to the point where it's just like kind of a glove. I think that this style is probably as good as it's gonna get.
Let's bring back the Power Glove. Man, fuck it.
The Power
I'd wear
Glove,
one of
yeah.
those. I'd wear 2 of
Yeah,
them.
I was just thinking, a little power glove, absolutely.
So bad. Ooh, yeah, be awesome.
So bad, yeah.
What possessed a company to create the Power Glove? Who thought
Fred
that was
Savage.
going to work? Yeah, I know Fred Savage, obviously, but you're wearing the glove,
No,
and on the glove
no.
is something that requires 2 hands to operate.
You say you know Fred Savage. I don't think you know Fred Savage.
Yes, not
Doesn't
personally.
sound like you know Fred Savage. Fred Savage was a game changer back in the day. 80s, mid 80s, late 80s. Fred Savage was pretty much everything.
That doesn't sound 100% accurate, but I'm going to go with it. He was many things. definitely was an influence on me as a child.
Right.
I think the people that made the Power Glove are the same people that made Rob the Robot, which is to say they were riding high and hard off the success of the Mario's brothers, and they thought, well, let's take some big swings, do some wacky shit,
Scale of 0 to 10, how good is the wizard?
Let's say 7 Ben Savages out of 10. Fuck, I love Boy Meets World.
Okay, all right.
But what's the calculation there? How many Ben Savages per Fred Savage?
I would say that probably Ben lives in Fred's shadow, so it would be like, I don't know, 10 Bens to 7 Freds.
Okay.
That's some complicated math you're asking of our audience and the world. I was just going to say 2 to 1,
I lost myself. Yeah. 2 to 1, yeah, 2 to 1. I like that.
Okay. Next time I'm finding myself in need of watching The Wizard, I'll remember that calculation of Ben to Fred and
Nice.
enjoy it appropriately. Christian Slater also in that movie, by the way.
Yep.
Wow. Really?
Yeah, go back and watch it. And there's a lot of friendly faces in there.
Yeah, a lot of friendly faces, a lot of fun moves. Seeing a bunch of kids play Mario Brothers 3 on the biggest possible screen, and them somehow using their progression through a single 1 to 2 player adventure to calculate how well they did and who won. It was just that. Okay, sure.
Just a little bit of hand waving.
Yeah.
I did always think that it was cool that they revealed that game in that movie. I don't know if I can recall another game being promoted like that.
That is pretty cool. That is pretty cool.
Yeah.
The first and last example of
First and
such
last,
a marketing deal.
Yeah.
And I don't understand why. We need more games to be revealed in movies and TV.
I mean, shit, if you knew that the next, I don't know, God of War was going to be revealed in movie A, I'd be a lot more inclined to go see it. Especially if we knew that it was going to be a big part of the movie. If it was it's just going to be shown in this little 2-minute scene, no, but in The Wizard, it was actually an integral part of the movie. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
They have done it the other way, though, where having the story of the latest Star Wars trilogy make sense depends on you having been to a particular Fortnite event.
Oh. What's this?
Yeah.
That seems cross purposes, that seems like a bad move, honestly. But what do I know? I don't know what the kid's like. I don't get down with the Fortnites and the Minecrafts and the whatnot. I don't fucking know.
But like, if anybody who's watched the most recent Star Wars trilogy, if you've watched the last one, the 9th episode, The Rise of Skywalker, the opening crawl begins with something like, "The Emperor has spoken. The galaxy has heard the Emperor." What they're referring to is a Fortnite event where Emperor Palpatine was heard. I'm not making this up.
Oh, I know. I reported on it back in the day. I remember.
Man, in episode 9, there's like they tie in Fortnite. I think that's pretty cool.
Dude, that's one of the worst movies ever made.
No, oh yeah, I'd never seen the movie, I'm sure, but I just think that sort of tie-in is pretty interesting.
Yeah, no, it's a cool sign of the times. Sure is a movie, that one. Oh boy,
Sure
what a
is a
film
movie, yeah.
that is.
Completely
shit.
and
I gotta be
utterly
honest.
illogical.
I didn't even realize episode 9 had come out. When was that, last year? Year before?
Like, I was like,
2019, bro.
I was gonna say it's like 3 years ago
2019,
at this point.
Yeah, but man, I didn't see episode, I guess it would be 4, A New Hope. I didn't see A New Hope until I was 22. I don't know. I'm a late bloomer.
Let's just say you're better off assuming that the saga ends with Return of the Jedi.
Yeah. Yep. I like that.
Anyways, speaking of TV and movies,
Yeah, so they mentioned that Fallout is happening, a Fallout TV show at Amazon.
yep,
I think it's great news. Amazon might be evil or what have you, but they have a very good track record with television.
yeah,
They're
especially-
really good at it.
especially things in
Sure.
kind of that sci-fi fantasy world where they have an incredibly good track record.
Oh yeah. You think Jeffrey Bezos doesn't watch fucking sci-fi?
I know he doesn't listen to music. Doesn't get the appeal.
Well, music or whatever, but you know, he loves his sci-fi.
He's too busy flying his dick rockets.
Flying his dick rockets, laughing maniacally.
Yeah. He sounds slightly unhinged when he laughs. His employees take it as a warning sign. They're like, uh-oh, something's about to go wrong when they hear Jeff Bezos laugh.
Yeah, have you seen how jacked he's getting?
He's fucking ripped. I don't believe that it's real. I think he's just like getting operations. He's getting some sort of filament, muscle filament.
It's just regular middle-aged shit when you're trying to bang people 30 years younger than you. It's totally normal. It's fine. He's definitely actually doing it.
Totally.
Bezos may be a megalomaniacal lunatic, but he is in fact a very dedicated, hardworking individual. So I don't doubt that he's actually doing the workouts. Also, fuck him. But, you know, look, two things can be true, all right?
Yeah, it's kind
I'm
of
just
weird.
like,
Like, what switch flipped at what point? Because he spent a lot of the early successful years of Amazon driving a 15-year-old Honda Accord or something like that. There's lots of
Girls.
news articles about that out there.
I don't know. He probably, probably he realized that like it's impossible to not be visible. Like as soon as the internet and social media got prolific enough, where it was you just knew shit about people that you would ordinarily not. It was just like, oh, people know who I am and they know my face and everything else. I should probably, you know, it makes good business sense for me to look and act a certain way.
I should get swole and buy a battleship.
Yeah,
Nice.
basically.
Okay.
Start dating a 20-year-old, divorce my wife, you know.
Oh yeah.
That divorce
Yeah,
is perhaps the best thing that's ever happened to charities out there, because
Yeah.
she gives away billions and billions and billions every
She
year. And
literally cannot
is
give it away fast
outrageous.
enough. It builds in equity like faster than she can give it away.
Jesus Christ.
It's fantastic. And hopefully the Fallout TV show is also.
Oh yeah, that's where this started.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we
Right.
went some places.
So yeah, is Jeff going to be in the show? Is he going to be the vault dweller?
I think he's
watching
going to
that.
be inside power armor at some point. It's going to open up
Inside
and it's going to
power
be
armor?
Bezos.
Yeah.
He's going to Iron Man out of the power armor.
Wow. Yeah. With that fucking laugh.
Yeah. No, the show will rule. It's gonna be good. Just we'll patiently wait for it to come out. When it does, it's gonna be great. I don't know what else to say about it, man. It's gonna be good.
Yeah.
Fallout generally has a really great story, sometimes hampered by bizarre design and mechanical choices, which the show will have none of. The show will probably run properly and perfectly from start to finish, and it will not crash repeatedly when you're attempting to get to a particular side plot, or
Wow.
So it's gonna be good.
Shots.
It just works, to quote
That's
Todd
right.
Howard. In other news, I came across this just randomly. Apparently that new Rainbow Six game, the Horde mode extraction thing, is going to be on Game Pass day one.
Dope.
I kind of think that game actually looks pretty fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Rainbow Six games are cool. Granted, I have not played one since my days going to like PC gaming cafes in the mid 2000s. So
Okay.
my knowledge and understanding is a little bit antiquated.
Extraction? Are we talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That shit looks weak. Weak. I'm upset at how weak it looks.
Okay. Go on.
Who is it made by Ubisoft still?
Oh
Did
yeah.
they source that out?
No, it's Ubi.
Yeah. Who at Ubisoft thought that was a good idea? To turn the franchise into hunting aliens.
The same people who are swimming through a vault of cash from Rainbow Six Siege.
Yeah.
Fair.
The
See,
Scrooge
but that's what I'm
McDuck
saying.
swim
So
team?
why is-
Yeah, I think they have some
why-
ideas.
So why isn't it Siege 2? Because I will bet you in a year's time we're going to be talking about this game and how it was just one of the free games on the PS Plus for the month. Nobody's buying this. And if they are, they're going to play it for, I'll give it 2 weeks and they're going to abandon it completely.
It's a mission-based horde mode. It's not exactly a money printing machine, but it's pretty close.
No, but man, I played it, played the beta, played the demo, whatever it was. It's just not there like Siege is. Siege is just like a tight, balanced game. This feels more like, I don't know, it feels more like that Resident Evil 3. The what did they call it? The resistance mode or something like that?
Yeah.
It just felt very janky, I guess.
To be fair, so
Well, I
did
mean-
Siege when they launched it. It sucked.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair
So
enough.
I think that's the new Ubisoft business model.
Yeah.
You drop an entertaining concept. It comes out pretty buggy. They work with it for a while. It gets good. It stays good. It develops a really loyal fan base. It sticks around for like 2 years. They definitely kept beating that For Honor drum for a lot longer than I thought they would.
Oh, yeah, that. Yeah. They had some cool ideas.
Sure, they all do. That's what Ubisoft is good at.
It just sucked ass as well. It's For Honor.
Fucking elevator
kidding me?
pitches the company. They just they're like, oh no, I can tell you an amazing idea in 30 seconds. Can't build it.
Yeah.
Yeah, every game that the company has ever made is the result of somebody in the Paris office having half a thought while they're taking a leak, pitching it, and having it be the biggest budget project that they've ever done the next day.
for sure.
Worked out great with
It's-
Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
Less good with For Honor. Maybe less good with Extraction? We'll see.
I have zero faith in Extraction. Prove me wrong, Ubisoft. Prove me wrong.
Indeed. In other shooter news, apparently GoldenEye may be coming to Xbox. GoldenEye 007.
Okay.
Starring
Because
Pierce
somebody
Brosnan.
found achievements.
Oh.
Could we be looking at a Rare Replay 2?
If they could make it so it's all they have to do is update the controls so it works with modern systems, because like the core is good, like the core is great still, honestly, to this day. It's just making those dudes run around those maps and do all the murders is actually really cumbersome and shitty. But oh boy, I tell you what, you go to do a mines only match, still amazing.
I wonder if it's possible that GoldenEye 007 is kind of is the bonus. It's the icing on the cake that is that new Perfect Dark game. Pre-order
I don't know.
Pre-order Perfect Dark. Buy Game Pass and get access to GoldenEye while you wait. I don't know. I think that game's
Yeah.
probably like 3 to 4 years away still.
3 to 4 years, huh?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's tough. Because at this point, we're basically at the whispers and rumors stage, right? Where it's just like, we know that a Perfect Dark game is happening, but we don't like have a second piece of information.
Yeah, the only second pieces of information is that they're trying to hire a lot of people. They're trying to poach people from other big studios, like Santa Monica was quite a big target. Santa Monica studio.
This isn't going to be like Crackdown 3 or whatever the fuck it was, right?
I mean, hopefully the people that are making it have more street cred than that and capability, honestly. What a wet fart of a game that was.
It sure did come out.
Squeaked out.
Yeah.
What else we got here, James? What else is going on?
Well, I see you put something in the doc saying that NFTs are either the future or complete shit, and companies can't decide which.
Yeah, I'm thinking there's an article in that. That's a good tagline.
Because here's the deal. Basically, every week or a couple of times a week, a company will come out and say, listen, here's our project that we're going to do involving NFTs because we smell money and it smells delicious. And then there's this huge, unprecedented wave, I mean, pretty precedented at this point, of negative backlash. And like clockwork, 24 to 72 hours later, they're like, on second thought, we're not doing that because a lot of you seem really angry for some reason. And it's happened like 4 or 5 times now where some companies like, we're going to do NFTs. And then the pitchforks come out and they're like, maybe we're not going to do that. I mean, Konami will probably still do them because that is basically a Yakuza money laundering scheme in the form of a corporation. So I think they're probably just going to do it.
There's like I think it was a meme or something that was out there. It was talking about Konami, and it's like, ways to make money. Give us updated versions of our favorite Konami games. Make stupid NFTs. NFTs!
Yeah. Somebody pointed out in some comment thread somewhere that like, oh, what you could do according to them, is that you could have an item that you, because it's on the blockchain, you would own it for realsies, and then you could transfer that from game to game because it would be your item and you could use it in these other games. And a lot of developers and programmers chimed in to be like, no, no, you can't. Here's 3 very good reasons why. Basically, it comes down to programming it, like the technicality issue, the legal issue. I think there was some third problem with it, but like basically it's technically impossible, it's incredibly expensive, and you would have to have like a team of lawyers working out like pages and pages and pages of fixes and documents just to allow it this transfer to happen between like 3 games, for example. To be fair, there was the first NFT project before like people even knew what that word was years ago. There was a company called or a game called CryptoKitties.
Yep.
And they actually had it working where you could transfer assets from one game to another, but the games were very, 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 very minimal in terms of like UI and like, you know what I mean? Like it was very, very simple. So like actually making an asset transferable from one to the other was a fairly simple process. Doing so between, for example, Minecraft and Final Fantasy XIV would be the sort of thing to give a programmer actual nightmares, you know, terror sweats and whatnot, right? You know, that sort of thing. So NFTs are the future of gaming in that companies will use them as a get-rich-quick scheme that a lot of people will buy into, and it'll make them a bunch of fucking money. They're that kind of future, but it's not like a good, cool, functional kind of future, you know? Like, nothing like that.
Going back to Ubisoft, they sure have embarrassed themselves with their NFTs out at the gate.
Oh, yeah, they backtracked on that crazy fast.
What a fucking joke.
And shockingly, there's just a long line of other companies who have lined up directly behind them to do the exact same thing. Like Square Enix has done it. Sega was doing it. You know, I kind of see why they're doing it, given that the precedent for such things is a little bit already set with things like Counter-Strike skins going for thousands of real dollars.
Oh,
and this is kind of just a more extreme version of that.
Yeah.
Where you literally own something that doesn't really exist.
Right, yeah. But, you know, if I was one of these executives at Ubisoft or wherever that was making the decisions to implement NFTs, at the end of the day, if there's somebody that's going to spend $2,000 on a tiger skin M4, okay, well, why wouldn't I sell that to you?
Personally, I can't wait to run around in Final Fantasy 16 wearing a big, garish pair of Sonic's running shoes.
Yeah, there you go.
That's going to be great.
You and 200 others.
Yeah.
That's it, though. Nobody else could possibly wear these shoes.
But that's it. Exactly.
No.
And you'll have the little, you'll have maybe a number probably embossed on the shoes. 37 of 200 or,
Somebody might be able to take a screenshot of my shoes, but they won't own my shoes.
No.
No, I mean, strictly speaking, most of the time you don't own the shoes either. You just own access to an entry in a database that promises that you own the shoes. It's kind of like how back in the day you would somebody would buy a star for you. They're like, there's a star in the sky and it's named after you and we bought it and whatnot. And 90% of those companies don't exist anymore. And everybody who spent money on that absolutely got rooked or whatever. They got roped in and they spent their money on fucking nothing. It's like that.
For sure. It's like buying one of the cans of air from the fucking Himalayas or whatever, You're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I guess with the can of air, though, at least you have a can that you can hold on to.
Yeah, I have a can from ThinkGeek that claims it's full of unicorn meat.
Okay,
It's not.
okay.
But I have the can.
But you got the can, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's a real Schrodinger situation, though. Until you open the can, it both has and does not have unicorn meat
Wow.
inside.
It's true.
You can't know for certain until you open it.
Yeah.
Nice.
And last but not least, we're coming back to Halo, where
We are.
data mining is a thing. People do it. They do it a lot. And they're taking apart Halo Infinite and finding a bunch of cut content. Most recently, there's a deleted mid-credits cutscene that apparently suggests the presence or incoming nature of some other Spartans that have been in Halo games, like Spartan Locke from Halo 5. And the question people are asking is, are these teases of future content, or is this shit that they just couldn't finish?
Halo fans, like, this is what y'all are waiting for?
I
My
suspect
guess-
it's the second thing.
My guess is both. My guess
Mm-hmm.
is they were under the impression that they were going to be able to finish a certain amount of it before release date, and then when they couldn't, for scope reasons, just, I don't know, whatever, shit didn't pan out. Like, okay, no, it's going to come in future updates instead. Right? I mean, why wouldn't they? If they have the assets and they have the money behind them, like, Microsoft definitely has the power to make this happen. They just simply could not bend the sands of time in the way that they wished so that this happened in the time they wanted it to.
Yeah, I couldn't Jake Gyllenhaal it. I gotcha.
Wow, you might be the first person to mention that movie out loud in about 10 years.
Hey, don't you ever speak ill of Jake Gyllenhaal. I'm sorry, go on, though.
Yeah. They probably just, yeah, it probably is coming, you know, in one form or another.
Yeah.
It might go through some revisions before it gets to the release stage.
Oh,
right?
for sure. I mean, it's so blatantly obvious. Yeah, I'm going to rant about Halo again. It's so blatantly obvious playing through that campaign that they had to hack it apart and redo a bunch of it. So if you think back to 343's previous Halo games like Halo 4 and Halo 5, they had these massive, grand cutscenes that were pre-rendered and look amazing to this day. Halo Infinite's cutscenes are exclusively a character centered in the screen monologuing to tell you what the story is. That's it.
That's
There's nothing interesting that happens.
100%. That is exactly what I've been thinking through the first, I don't know, I'm maybe 10 hours in. That's exactly what I was thinking. Watching through the cutscenes is I'm falling asleep. It's the same fucking cutscene every single time.
And it's such melodramatic shit. You know,
Oh,
it's like some intern wrote it and thought it was the most profound thing that's ever been written. But in fact,
sure.
they were a high school dropout and they've never actually written something before.
I can just tell that the writers think that Chief is so cool. He's so cool. His short, quick deliveries. No. Yes. Get moving. You know, like, that's not cool. It's not cool. Like, it's been done.
He's
God,
not
it's been
Solid
done.
Snake.
He's not Solid Snake, but like Solid Snake loved to talk.
Yeah, and he had good shit to say.
A lot of good shit to say. Chief is just like, man, he's got a cool voice, but man, he's saying fucking 2-3 words at a time. It reminds me of Kiefer Sutherland and Snake in MGS5.
When he had like 45
character-
minutes in the booth.
Well, exactly. Like I like the character. I think the character is cool, but there's like there's nothing for the actor to chew on.
Yeah.
You know, it's just as basic as these scenes could possibly be. That's how they are.
Yeah. And I won't spoil anything because the game is pretty new. But when you're playing through it, you will come to a point where you're going to say to yourself, oh God, they're not going to do that, are they? They're not going that route. It's the most telegraphed thing perhaps ever. And it happens.
Cool. That's exciting. Right?
I, like, physically got up off the couch and was like, what the fuck? Come on.
But okay,
Had to go
I
away
ask
for
you
a bit.
this. So there are times in storytelling when the thing that's, you know, like easy to spot from afar is what's necessary to the story, or, you know, it is like what needs to happen. So in Halo, without spoiling anything, yeah, you saw this thing coming from 100 miles away, but was it at least effective in what it was trying to do?
Absolutely not.
Okay, cool.
Because a lot of the game is missing. In my opinion, a lot of the game must be missing because it's played as this big reveal or something that was necessary to the scope of the world. And, you know, there's the pilot character that you've seen in trailers, and they try to pull off these big emotional moments, but he's talked to the chief like 3 times over the course of the whole game. It just doesn't make sense. There's got to be cutting room floor content that was necessary to the story making sense. And it was a scramble to ship a product that more or less had a story. In my opinion. Can't wait to see the retrospectives and the documentaries that happen about this game and the fuckfest that was the development.
I have a tough time imagining you're wrong, though, with them rushing to get this out. There was a very bad response to the game when they first showed it off.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they didn't anticipate that at all, and they were like, okay, we got to just get something out as quickly as we can, because nobody's going to be around in 2 years, 3 years to care about this game anymore.
Yeah, let's shine up this piece so that it looks
exactly
relatively modern.
Yep.
Yeah. Because, you know, you've already noticed it, right? You can't tell me that someone who is working on one of the biggest franchises in the history of games created those cutscenes because they thought they were the best possible thing that they could create.
Yeah, there's no way. It's like I said, like you said, it's the same cutscene every time.
Are you tired of I can't even remember his name, the Brute, pontificating about his shit yet?
Yeah, right. In hologram form.
Yep. Just
Yeah,
buckle up for way more of that.
Sick of that for sure. And like how uninspired is his design as well. He's just like classic 2004 World of Warcraft orc.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like there's nothing interesting about him or the what are they what's their name?
I'm sure it's fine.
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
Who gives a shit who these people are? I don't know, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
They want you to, though, and they think you're going to.
Yeah.
I want to play the game that Halo Infinite wanted to be. I don't know that it will ever exist.
I'm sure they also want you to play that game.
Yeah. Unfortunately,
Yeah,
the 37 years of development time it needed was a little bit untenable.
I don't understand. It feels like they wanted to make Halo Far Cry, but they, for some reason, ran out of time. I don't know why they ran out of time trying to mimic Far Cry. It's the easiest fucking formula. Yeah, it's half-baked.
But it plays relatively
Anyways.
well. The multiplayer is pretty good. And
Yeah.
according to some people, it's the 11th best game of last year. That
11th best.
11th? It was in the just missed the top 10 pile.
Yeah. Did these same people rate Far Cry above that?
If they had put Far Cry somewhere on the list. If it had been written down, it might have been in the same breath.
Yeah.
I don't know who would do such a thing, though. You know,
Monsters, generally. Total jerks.
No.
The worst people.
Man, I'll
Just the
fucking-
worst. Who does that? Right?
Man, I'll argue until I'm dead and buried that Far Cry 6 last year was a better game than Halo Infinite.
I personally can't wait to compare Halo Infinite in 10 years to Far Cry 14. I think
We'll
that's
be
going to be
here.
a good battle.
I could write the review for Far Cry 14 right fucking now, and you know it.
No, I honestly think though that 6, 8 enough shit where 7 is going to be a big change of pace for the series. Ubisoft knows they can't release the same game next time unless if they're gonna do like like what was New Dawn? Was it kind of like a spin-off from Far Cry 5? If they're going to do one of these spin-off games that they do, then sure, but when they go to Far Cry 7, there's going to be some big changes.
Do you think that Ubisoft, the Taco Bell of game publishers and developers, is going to be making big changes from one title to the next?
I do. Assassin's Creed is apparently going to like a big open world. It's not going to be like a yearly sort of thing. They're going to do. I mean, what could you compare it to? I don't know. It's just going to be like a more supported thing. More. It's not going to be yearly releases. It's just going to be one game that is updated over the next several years. One giant hub for people to play in.
So it'll be the same game but live service.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Assassin's
absolutely,
Creed, but
absolutely.
also Destiny.
So not
yeah, exactly.
not a
So-
big
so-
change,
so-
even a little bit.
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, so that'll probably be Far Cry 7. Yeah, just the fucking
Yes.
same thing. but,
AKA
yeah, live
Far Cry
service.
Infinite, because they'll never need to release another Far Cry.
Far
Because
Cry
they'll just
Infinite,
like,
yeah.
listen, we're going to update the kinds of animals you can murder and the people you can trap and kill in this cool game every 6 to 8 months, and you're
Not
going to
wrong.
pay for it continuously? I don't know. They'll make money
yeah.
somehow. They're clever.
Yo, I hope they call
Because,
it Far Cry
yeah, it's the
Infinite.
weapon charm. Man, they added the weapon charms. That's how they make money. I got
Yeah.
that fucking disco ball hanging off.
Buy
my gun.
buy the
Fuck.
skins so you can shoot fucking glowing green lasers out of your dick hole every time.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
Nice.
whatever, man.
Nice. My favorite kind of laser to shoot.
You know
Green
what?
dick laser? Yeah.
To lean really into that Taco Bell thing, they should not start mixing and matching not only the game mechanics from their various games, but also the titles. Because I can't wait to play Far Cry 7, Assassin's Cry.
Wow, Assassin's
Yeah.
Cry.
You know what?
I'm
That
into
sounds
it.
fucking awesome.
What was
They
it?
should
Rainbow
just-
Creed 4? Come on, man. These
Yeah.
are good
Yeah,
game
Ra-
titles.
Rainbow Creed, Republic,
Division.
Crew.
Yeah, Republic
They
Crew,
should
sure.
just-
Yeah.
They should just make one game. They should be like, this is the Ubisoft game. We make it
Yeah.
every year.
It's
It has all of your
everything.
characters. It has your towers. It has your map icons. It has your stealth. It has your
yeah.
guns.
If you want to be an assassin, if you want to ride mountain bikes, if you want to drive cars, it's all there. It's all there for you. If you want to hack
They
technology.
Yeah.
they literally just give you like a continuum slider at the beginning of the game where you slide it all the way from one to the other to determine how the game plays. Like at one end is like Riders Republic, and at the other end is Rainbow Six, and you got to be somewhere in between there. Like Far Cry and Assassin's Creed and the Division, they all fit in there somewhere.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? I'd give it a shot. I'd give it a chance.
I would.
Oh, I'd play it.
If they just made like an Ubisoft Gumbo game where it's just like, no, fuck it, it's all going
yes,
in.
Yes,
Absolutely.
That's exactly it. Gumbo by Ubisoft. Like exactly.
It's a little spicy. It's a little salty. It's soup.
Yeah.
It's also not. It's kind of a stew.
Right? Yeah, it's thick. It's fulfilling,
Yeah.
but it's not like you're eating a fucking heavy, steak.
Wow.
Sure. There was a point we were going to get to, or do you just sort of drift off into dreamland there? What happened, buddy?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Some of
Cool
both.
beans.
That's fine. Ubisoft Gumbo. Look for it in 2023. And
Yes.
in the meantime, this has been Press X the podcast. Episode 1 of Phase 2.0. Season 5. Season 5 of Press X the podcast.
Faces Odyssey, The Revenge.
Faces Odyssey. Yes. If you liked what you heard here, I don't know why you would, but if you did, and you're still listening at this point, you can come back in a couple weeks and hear more of this nonsense, or go back in time. Listen to the last 4 seasons. There's some good stuff there. So, at least some. So listen to that, and also check out cogconnected.com. That's where we write stuff. Check us out on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all those places. That's where you're going to find content about video games, reviews, previews, features, opinions, all that shit. That's my cat being annoying. I'm done with her. Thanks, guys. This has been fun. I will see you very, very soon. And all you listeners, thanks for listening and watching. See you next time.
Bye-bye.